Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm really excited about today's topic because we're diving into something that will not only help you understand Brazilian Portuguese better, but also make your conversations much more natural and fun. We're talking about interjections, those little words that Brazilians use all the time to express emotions quickly and effortlessly. Whether it's surprise, relief, excitement, or even frustration, interjections are everywhere in spoken Portuguese. Today, we're going to explore some of the most common ones and how to use them and how they can add flavor to your conversations. So, let's start with the basics. What exactly are interjections? In any language, they're those short words or sounds we use to react to something quickly and without thinking too much. You don't really plan them, they just come out naturally. In English, we have things like oh for surprise, yay for excitement, or oops for when you made a mistake. In Portuguese, it's the same idea, but Brazilians have their own unique set of interjections that you hear all the time, especially in casual conversations. Learning these interjections can help you sound more like a native speaker, and they can also help you understand the emotional tone behind what people are saying. So, let's break down some of the most common interjections in Brazilian Portuguese and when you might use them. Let's start with one of the most iconic Brazilian interjections, nossa. This word is actually short for Nossa Senhora, which means Our Lady, referring to Virgin Mary. But don't worry, you don't need to be religious to use it. These days, nossa is used to express surprise or amazement. It's like saying wow or oh my in English. For example, if you see something amazing, you can say nossa, que lindo. Or let's say you hear some shocking news. Nossa, sério? Moving on, we have eita, which is another super popular interjection. This one is fun because it's often used in moments of surprise or when something unexpected happens. But it has a bit of a wow factor that can go from good to bad, depending on the context. For example, if you see someone do something impressive like a skateboard trick, you might say, eita! But it's also perfect for those moments when something goes wrong. Let's say someone trips and almost falls. Eita! It's kind of like saying whoa or whoa in English. You know what's interesting is that eita is often paired with another interjections or words. Brazilian might say eita, que isso? Meaning whoa, what's that? Or eita caramba, which adds even more emphasis, almost like saying oh my goodness. You'll find this one used a lot in informal settings, especially when people are reacting to something dramatic or surprising. Now let's talk about ufa. This interjection is all about relief. It's the sound you make when something stressful is over and everything turned out fine. It's like a verbal sigh of relief. In English you might say phew after a tense moment, and ufa works the same way in Portuguese. For example, imagine you finished a big exam and it wasn't as bad as you thought. You could say, ufa, acabou. Or if you were nervous about a flight that finally landed safely, you'd say, ufa, chegamos. I is one of those interjections that you need if you ever hurt yourself, because it's the go-to word for expressing pain or discomfort. It's the Brazilian equivalent of ouch in English. Let's say you stub your toe or accidentally cut your finger. You'd immediately say, ai! Or you can also add to it for more emphasis. Ai, que dor! Like, oh my god, it hurts. It's quick, easy to remember, and absolutely essential in those painful moments. And yes, you ever hear it used in more playful context when people are exaggerating their pain for dramatic effect. Next up is vixe. This is an interjection used to express shock or surprise, but it has a bit of a worried or negative connotation, unlike nossa, which is more neutral or positive. Vixe is like saying yikes or oh no in English. For example, if someone tells you something bad, like I lost my job, you might respond with vixe, It's a way to express concern or surprise in a slightly more serious tone. Sometimes people dry it out, vixe, to make the shock or concern sound even greater. It can also be used when you realize you've made a mistake, like vixe, esqueci, like oh no, I forgot. Brazilians use this one a lot in situations where something goes wrong or they're hearing bad news. Poxa is the interjection used when you're feeling disappointed or when you want to express sympathy. It's like saying, oh man, or that sucks in English, but with a little more politeness. If your friend tells you they can't come to your party, you could say, poxa, que pena. It's a little softer and less intense than nossa or vixe, but it still conveys that you feel bad about the situation. You can also use in situations where things didn't go as planned. Poxa, eu queria tanto ir. Another really common interjection is caramba. This one is similar to nossa, but has a bit more intensity. It's like saying dang or jeez in English. It's often used to express frustration or disbelief. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, you might say caramba, que trânsito. Or if something is really surprising, you could say caramba, não acredito. So, there you have it. These are just a few of the most common interjections in Brazilian Portuguese. As you can see, they're incredibly useful for expressing all kinds of emotion in quick, simple ways. If you start using these in your conversation, you'll sound much more natural and connected with Brazilian culture. Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips on Brazilian Portuguese. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!